The IRGC is not the muscle that other people use. The IRGC uses other people. The IRGC is the greatest force within the Islamic Republic. It doesn't get used by other people. It uses other people, right? It is right now the ultimate power. To some degrees, you could say that the Islamic Republic is IRGC, right? And the history of IRGC, the IRGC was not meant to be what it is right now. It wasn't supposed to be the main dominant power of the Islamic Republic. Khomeini created the IRGC as an anti-coup measure against the Artesh. Khomeini has multiple videos directly saying that the IRGC should never become political, and he said that very aggressively when some people within the IRGC were becoming political. So what the IRGC is today goes against the very ideals of the Islamic Revolution of 1979 and the founder of the Islamic Republic. It goes against exactly what he directly said that the IRGC is not supposed to do. The IRGC did that. The reason why the IRGC managed to get to where it is today is because after Ruhollah Khomeini, the first supreme leader of the Islamic Republic, died, Ali Khamenei became the supreme leader, and Ali Khamenei was supposed to be a symbolic weak supreme leader. Rafsanjani was supposed to gain all the power as the president of the Islamic Republic. Rafsanjani picked Ali Khamenei as the supreme leader, lied about Khomeini actually picking him as the next supreme leader. The reason why Rafsanjani made Ali Khamenei the next supreme leader was because Ali Khamenei didn't have the religious credentials to be the supreme leader, so he thought he would be weak and he would be able to control him. And as the president, he would have all the executive power and he will be able to control Iran. What happened though is that Ali Khamenei and the IRGC worked with each other, and the IRGC managed to get Ali Khamenei to become the absolute supreme leader, not just on paper, not just in constitution, but in practice as well. And Ali Khamenei used that power to keep giving more funds and more control, both political control and economic control, to the IRGC. So it turned into a cycle. They both keep supporting each other, and they pushed out Rafsanjani and his entire camp, and eventually they killed Rafsanjani in his own pool. They basically drowned him in his own pool. And then Ali Khamenei became the ultimate power along with the IRGC. The thing is that Ali Khamenei himself did not have the military power. It all came from IRGC, and IRGC managed to dominate most of the industries within Iran and became not just the greatest military power, but also the ultimate economic power within Iran. And at some point, people realized that the source of power is not Ali Khamenei. He has just soft power, ideological soft power, but he doesn't have the military and economic power of that the IRGC has. And everybody realized that going in this direction, IRGC will at some point become all the power, and the office of the supreme leadership is losing its power year by year. And with the death of Ali Khamenei, everybody expected the IRGC to do a complete takeover, and the supreme leadership office becomes more symbolic. And it becomes symbolic in a way that Rafsanjani originally envisioned. So that's the origins of it. When it comes to the relationship with the Paidari camp or the people who are the Islamic minded people who are pro Islamic rule but don't have the weapons, the people who we refer to as the Paidari camp or the ideological pressure camp or the streets as we call them. So the Islamic Republic has four segments: the IRGC, the supreme leadership, the negotiation facing track, and then the Paidari camp. So we call that, like we on this channel, to make it simple, we call the IRGC boots, the supreme leadership office, we call it the turbans. The negotiation facing track, we call them the suits, and the Paidari camp, we call them the streets, right? So the relationship between the boots and the streets is that the boots use the streets, right? So the IRGC needs the streets for multiple reasons. But the thing is that the IRGC itself doesn't have direct soft power. It has military power and has economic power. But the people with the ideology that is pro Islamic rule, pro the ideals of the Islamic Revolution, they get funded by IRGC in mosques and Husseiniya. So there are different religious centers within Iran that get IRGC funding by different. And again, this is actually more complicated because there are different segments of IRGC that fund different mosques and different Husseiniya. Sometimes they are in competition with each other, but the most important part is that these people who are in the streets chanting and putting pressure on the regime on or other people might get annoying sometimes, but they have their use on social media and in the streets. Their use are they have two uses and one annoyance. The first use is that the IRGC, even with all of its power, it cannot be everywhere all the time suppressing the Iranian people. The Iranian people are so much against the Islamic Republic that the IRGC needs help. It needs the civilian population that supports it to be its eyes and ears and a civilian suppression force against the anti-regime people. So that's one of their use cases. The other use case is that the IRGC is now at the IRGC feels threatened by the suits. The suits are that camp, it gets filled by different segments. Before it used to get filled by the reformers, now it's getting filled by Ghalibaf. But that's a segment of the Islamic Republic that usually is the weakest because it has no soft power, it has no military power, and it has no financial power. But it's a part of the Islamic Republic that is trying to open up to the rest of the world for their own survival and for the survival of the Islamic Republic. And that is something that threatens the very fundamentals of what make IRGC works. That because the IRGC has its grip on the economy because of isolationism, because of its command structure, because of lack of competition with the private sector, because of a lack of competition with the international companies, and because of anti-imperialism and anti-Zionism that makes it able to take the resources of the Iranian people to spend on military in Lebanon, in Syria, in Yemen, in Iraq, all the way to Israel and in Gaza. Right, so that ideology needs to be there, and these ideological pressure camp people, the Paidari camp people, the streets are the the ideological leverage that the IRGC funds to make sure that that ideology exists. The problem is that as much as the IRGC funds these types of ideology and pushes for it, it's really hard to pull them back when you need to. So sometimes they get annoying. So they have two use cases and one annoyance. One is the pressure against the Iranian people. One, spreading the ideology of no negotiation and no opening to the world and to the West. Basically, aggression towards the world, especially to the West and Zion and Israel. That's the second use case. But the annoyance is that when they do need to be, sometimes these people get more. They become more Catholic than Pope, right? Because you keep funding them to promote these extreme ideologies, but sometimes these people turn against the IRGC themselves because you have encouraged them to have maximalist demands. However, it doesn't make sense to completely get rid of them because without them, the IRGC has no soft power, and even though there's negotiation facing track, it has historically been the weakest within the Islamic Republic out of the four. Right now, they're the strongest because they have the backing of the US military to make the negotiations happen. So for the first time, the IRGC is threatened by them, and there are people within the IRGC that do want to stop the negotiations from happening, even though they are temporarily going with it because they have to, or else they will be sold out and eliminated. But at the end of the day, if we keep going down this path and Ghalibaf wins, the very fundamentals that makes IRGC powerful and maintain its grip over the economy will break apart. And if IRGC falls, the entire Islamic Republic, what you said is correct. If the IRGC falls, the rest of the three parts of the Islamic Republic will not be able to hold back the uprising of the Iranian people. Us Iranian people, when we want to topple the Islamic Republic, out of these four, only one of them is an obstacle, which is the IRGC. If that part gets weaker, the three is easy to get rid of.
That's exactly what I meant. Is that right now, because they were before, I'm sure they had disagreements behind closed doors, but publicly they were always a united front against everybody else. But now there are publicly opposed to each other, and it's becoming a way that if the IRGC is gone, and by the way of the proxies as well, which we're seeing, Hezbollah is getting destroyed. We saw this whole thing with Iraq now. Hashd al-Shab is basically all their money's got confiscated, which is amazing to see, and that is hugely thanks to Trump. By the way, every Iranian who talks crap about Trump should really, really, really give their head a shake. So if the IRGC is gone, the Islamic Republic, and in its current form and the way that it's become and it's evolved into, then the Islamic Republic will basically fall. There's nothing else, as you said, to hold anybody else back from taking out the regime, which is a great thing to realize and also to keep an eye on. Amazing explanation, by the way. Thank you. It's fantastic, master level.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, guys, if anybody understood what I just said in response to Raham's question, then you understand the Islamic Republic more than most people, if you understood everything I said. All right, who's next? We have a response?
Yes, we have a response. I would like to add, if you didn't understand it, this will be a segment, I suppose, later, and you can go over it a little slower, try to get all this to sink in. It was a little bit rapid fire, but it is dense with good information, right? Like, we understand this. I to absorb it, because we're in it all the time, it's a little easier for us. But this is excellent information. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, watch the clips, give it a like, leave a comment. The algorithm loves comments. So make sure you do that if you can. And next to respond on this, we have Jonathan.
Before Jonathan speaks, I also want to mention, if you didn't understand any parts of it, you could just ask me and I'll try to explain it in another way. All right, Jonathan, go ahead.
Great point.
Jonathan?
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Can you hear? All right. You said that if the IRGC falls, then the other two parts of the Islamic Republic won't be able to hold back the uprising. But now what I'm asking is, then how will the IRGC fall?
Okay, how would the IRGC fall? There are multiple ways, right? Which one is more likely? We could talk about that. We have the mass uprising of the Iranian people that overwhelm them, especially if they're armed. That's one way. There could be a coup, internal coup within the IRGC, with and also with the Artesh against the IRGC. That could be another option. Another option is the slow method, which is using negotiations as a way to have somebody internally within the Islamic Republic that has the backing of the US military, and also money that would be released to them as a way to buy out people and intimidate people and slowly erode the grip of IRGC over the economy, opening the economy, privatizing certain segments, getting if you manage to push for that, improve the private sector, open the economy to the point where other companies are moving into the Islamic Republic, somehow either threaten or bribe the people within the IRGC to let go of their grip over certain industries and their political power one by one. Either first bribe them, and if they don't accept, eliminate them, assassinate them, threaten them. That would be by having an inside. This would be the slowest but the cheapest version for the Americans, because it wouldn't require them to come and spend a lot of expensive firepower in the Islamic Republic. They could have an inside man like Ghaliba, for example, that is basically being threatened that if we do go back to military operations, we'll just kill you. So you should be very motivated in making our plan work. If the IRGC loses its grip over the economy, it wouldn't be able to afford its military expenses. And if it won't be able to afford its military expenses, it will become weaker and weaker. And it will eventually, the new version of the Islamic Republic would disband the IRGC at that point. I mean, I'm not saying this will happen. I'm just saying that this is an option that you could go for, and without the IRGC, and here's something: the uprising of the Iranian people will continue, and it will keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and it will also get more organized, more united, with under the leadership of Princess of Pahlavi. And I think that we are also going to move towards having the uprising become armed. So that, in combination with not having IRGC be able to have so much control over the politics of the Islamic Republic and the economy of the Islamic Republic, will push them back and back. We might have a situation. Okay, so I'm in favor with a mass uprising where the IRGC is taken over by the Iranian people. That is fantastic, because that would be the faster option. But I'm just giving you all the options. Is that if we have armed Iranian people and a weaker IRGC, we might see a non-violent surrender of the Islamic Republic to the Iranian people, because they can see what's happening on the ground, and they would have to submit if they want to avoid a bloodbath from happening. So there are multiple ways of going about doing this. I don't know which one is going to happen. I think we should push for all three. Nobody could predict the future. So the three options are a coup d'etat, and a fast coup d'etat, like internal struggle within the Islamic Republic, a mass uprising of the Iranian people, preferably armed, or surrender by the IRGC once it loses its control over the economy and can't afford its expenses. Does that answer your question, Jonathan?
Yes, it does. Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right. I think with that, I see no more twos on this topic, and we can move on to super chats.
All right, we have 5 super chats. One is from John saying, "Love this channel." Thank you, John. Appreciate the super chat. And then we have Fleshy Interloper with the super chat saying, "Need market to go up to afford more supreme super chats." Okay, okay. Well, Flesh Interloper, come to our group. Okay, hey, Flesh Interloper, if you come to our group, let me know you're there, and I'll just increase you to VIP without, just come, because you have been a great contributor. So just once you are in our group call, let me know, and you are like that you're there, and I'll just you could put it in the chat in the group call. You know what? I'll just go and find one of your posts in the community tab, and I'll make you VIP so that you have always access to all our group calls. Okay. And thank you for always supporting us. So if you don't want to do a super chat, but you want to bring something to our attention, just do it in our group calls. And then we have Teresa. Thank you. Did I pronounce that right? Yeah. Thank you so much. Cute profile picture as always. Thank you so much for your super sticker. And this is Ramin. Thank you, Jahangir. Ramin, thank you so much for the super chat saying, "Hell yeah, monkey face to president." Wait, monkey. President.
I would love to, but I can't really do right now. I will put my support behind Marcus Rubius Floridicus Cubanicus, first of his name.
Okay. I'll vote for you, monkey, if you run for president. And then we have Jahangir with another super chat. Thank you so much, saying, "Bro, this autocorrect has me look like a Pocky." Well said, host. Thank you so much. All right. And then we have Noah. Thank you so much, Noah, with a super chat saying, "I love coming to the group. It can be therapeutic." Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. You know what? You guys are also therapeutic for me. So it works both ways. I appreciate that.
My name is Armin Navabi. I'm an Iranian political analyst with decades of experience fighting the Islamic regime inside and outside of Iran. Make sure you follow me for more, and also make sure you join our discussion group. I'm there almost every single day. Come talk to me there and the rest of the people there in our group calls. It's a great place to meet and talk to people who like talking about politics. The link is in the description and or in the bio. You could also get there by scanning the QR code on the screen. See you there.